50% of a property manager's time is wasted. That is an amazing stat, but I'm joined today by Sally Lawson, who is the UK's #1 letting agency guru. 50% of a property manager's time is wasted. What do you mean by that? They're going to be rioting in the streets if we're not careful. Talk to me, Sally.
That's one hell of a headline, Chris, absolutely. But here's the thing. So what I've been doing for the last 8 years is really drilling down into letting agency and finding where the wastage is, finding where the time lost is, because our commodity is time. And I've discovered that the biggest waste of time is actually in the tenancy management department. Now, I own my own letting agency. I have a white label managed hub. I have 15 tenancy managers, property managers working for me. And so I'm talking from first-hand experience here as well. When you first start to identify what your tenancy managers do versus what they should do, we find that in most agencies that we've done this with, 50% of their time is spent on favours and free things. Now, what do we mean by free? I call it free and free. So there's free. Free is basically your service has not been broken down into all the elements of what you do, and therefore your terms and conditions describe what you do as, we will manage your property for 10%. Now, what does manage mean? To you, it might mean collect the rent, sort the maintenance. To the landlord, it means drop the keys off to my contractor who lives 10 miles away, go and sit and wait for British Gas because I don't want to use your contractor because it's too expensive. It means go and talk to my mother. It means use my contractor for all the maintenance instructions rather than your own. It'll mean all of those things. When you start to cut out the free and start saying, no, Mr. Landlord, you will only use our contractors. We will not instruct your contractors. If you want to use your contractors, you instruct your contractors. We will not sit and wait for British Gas for you. We will not spend 9 hours trying to sort the electricity out on your HMO because you didn't pay your bill. That was an actual one that we actually found. We will not do all of these things for you. All of a sudden you will find a severe change in the amount of time that you need. And one of these things came from, tenancy managers always seem to be saying, we haven't got enough time, we need more staff, we need more staff. And this is like an absolute consumption mode that you can never have enough tenancy management out of work.
It's like the NHS, you can never have too much.
You can never have enough. But the reality is it's because they themselves are doing too much free because you haven't sorted your terms and conditions out, but also free, and that's the favours. And I'll tell you why they're doing that. Because the #1 thing we say to our tenancy managers is, whatever you do, just keep the landlords happy. And I've run a tenancy manager training day, and I loved it. And I was actually, when I first ran a tenancy manager training, I thought, oh no, I don't want to do this. No, this is not good. But actually I did it and it was amazing. And I said to them, what's your #1 thing? They say, keep the landlords happy. You've got to keep the landlords happy. I said, so what will you do to keep the landlords happy? And I've actually got a video that I made on this day, and they're saying that they went and got the freezer broke. They went and got the food out of the tenant's freezer, put it in their own freezer, only to get a rant by the tenant's dad to tell them off because they hadn't maintained the freezer. I mean, how can you maintain a freezer? We've had a tenancy manager put decking down when the decking broke on behalf of a landlord in their own time. We had another one where a little tiny girl, she was about 5 foot nothing, went and kicked squatters out of a property on her way home, absolutely free of charge. I personally had one where the landlord's dad used to stand in the front room waiting for the bus, and one of my tenancy managers actually went to remove a young female went to move this old male father out of the premises during work time. These are all things that are being done for free and free that we don't even realise they're doing. It's absolutely crazy. And so what we do is we tell them to do a time study sheet. Every 15 minutes, they write down what they're doing and they put it in red, yellow or green. So green is, I know I should be doing it. Rent collections, maintenance, whatever. Yellow, kicking the dad out of the front room. Oh, I don't know whether I should be doing that as a yellow. And red, I've dropped the keys off to the landlord who lives 10 miles away. I don't really think I should be doing that. And you do that, 50% will be in yellow and red. And what happens is you then prompts you to have a conversation and say, well, we need to put that in our terms and conditions. It doesn't include that, and that we won't do that. And that's not going to be a thing. And so what happens is you evolve your terms and conditions to actually be clearer. So, what will you do in the case of rent arrears? What will you do in case of maintenance? Will you use the landlord's own contractors? All those sort of things. And you start to specify it. What happens over time, your property managers become very clear and know exactly what they should and shouldn't do. And here's one phrase that comes back into line. When I did that room of tenancy managers, I said to them, I bet you never say, I'm sorry, sir, that's not part of our service, do you?
Yeah, because I want to keep the landlords happy. I don't want to lose
Yeah.
them.
And they're like, no, no, we never say that. We never say that. They're so proud of it. And I says, well, you need to start to. Because a business cannot operate where you just do whatever the customer asks you to do. It doesn't work. I said, next time you go to your accountant, say to your accountant, hey, I know you do my marital stuff. Can you do all my work stuff for me? I'm setting up another business. You can do that for free for me.
Yeah.
You've been a McDonald's customer for 20 years. How about you go in there and say, oh, I've been a customer for 20 years. Can I have a free milkshake? They're going to say no to you. What about your solicitor? Who does that? No one does that. Why do we do that? I have no idea. And so my research of doing these time and study reports now for 8 years with literally hundreds of letting agents, the average keeps coming back. 50% is in yellow and red. 50%. And that's because our terms and conditions are not clear enough and don't stipulate what we do and what we don't do. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. So it all starts from good terms and conditions that basically tell you what you get for your money and what you don't, and if you do, and if it's a yellow or red, what it'll cost.
And empower your staff to say no.
Because they're not going to bugger off just for a no, are they?
No. Well, you met that landlord. We had a landlord of a HMO who literally didn't pay his electricity bill and the electricity got cut off. We had 6 screaming tenants at us because there was no electricity in his HMO. My member of staff spent 9 hours trying to get the electricity back on, plus we had to pay a load of money out of our own bank account to actually get the electricity on. We then worked out a £100 hourly rate. Have some in your terms and conditions, have an hourly rate. So we have £100 an hour. We then charged him 9 hours at £100 an hour. We charged him £900 plus the money we had to put on the electricity meter to solve that problem. Now, if we didn't have an hourly rate in our terms and conditions, that would have been done for free.
But people are going to say, well, that's part of being managed.
No, he decided not to pay his electricity bill. That's not our job. He made that choice. Now, if it was just an electrical problem, then yes. But him not paying the bill, he's made that choice and he would not answer the phone to us.
Thank you for your time today.
Thank you.